Welcome back to the Jin's Treasure. Today we are gonna do some fun new stuff. I'm not sure if you have ever seen the what they call the Tree of Life pendant. But we're gonna make it today. It's I have one, but it's in my car, so I'm not gonna run out and grab it right now. I should have thought of that before I started the video, but that's all right. Here we are. We're here. We're doing it. So those Tree of Life, they start out with like a circular frame, and then there's like a flat version of a tree inside. So if you're familiar with my other trees, you know, you got your roots and then your trunk and your branches. And so in here, we're gonna have the roots latched on the bottom, and then it sinks into the trunk in the middle, and then it sprawls out into the branches, and the branches are going to be decorated with these chips, crystals. You know, I have this already, and I probably could have done a recording of how I made this, but honestly, this is pretty basic wire wrapping work. You take a metal wire, you coil it into a circle, and then what you would have is two tip ends, and then you take the tip, bend it 90 degrees to get that bend up, and then you curl it around, do a loop, and then you take the other end and then wrap that around. So that's how I got that loop. You could see the tip end of the loop is this guy right here, and then the other wire came around and is what wrapped around, and there's where the tip finishes for the other wire. So this wire coming up coils around, snakes around that lace loop right there, and then this one is that lace loop, and then the tip pokes out there. So real quick, that's how I did that. If I do another one of these Tree of Life videos, I'll definitely do it from scratch. I just kind of like started my day today, walked up to this desk, and I was like, oh cool, actually I already did it. So a little bit of lazy man today, but that's all right. The next thing I did, which I intentionally did this off camera because it would just take too long, but oh, by the way, this is, I believe it could be even a 16 gauge wire, maybe 18. I would say for that framework wire, you won't want to go any higher than 20. I wouldn't even probably do 20, 16, 18 are more preferable. And then this wire is, I believe 26 gauge, but you could get anywhere between, I would say 24 gauge to 28 gauge wire would be acceptable for what we're gonna do. And these, the purpose of these 26 gauge wires, this is the tree. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, you know, line them up all together so they're more or less even with each other. I'm just noticing there's a few that were kind of off skew, so realigning those. And then we got one more in there. So you want to make sure that they're all relatively at the same end. What I'm doing here is pulling out this guy. You can see how he's shorter than the rest, so we just bring him up. All right, looks good. And now we begin our twisting. So I'm doing it just with my fingers to begin, and I might even, it gets pretty tough to coil or continue to coil, so I could grab some pliers and continue to coil that way. I don't need a lot, and I want it pretty close to this tip end so you can see we have a lot to work with. It kind of looks like a rooster tail or something. So we'll pull out these ends now and kind of separate them into like a half circle fan. Just a little bit, just to sprawl it out, right? And then now what we're gonna do is begin to attach. Remember, this is the trunk right here, and these are the roots. So these roots are gonna get attached to the bottom of this circle frame. And then just one by one, we're gonna bring those tip ends around and just get them coiled around that frame wire so that it's anchored and attached. And we're gonna do that one by one and getting them all done. Whoa. Hit my camera. So one thing I would recommend that, I mean, I've built a few of these trees now, probably like 3 or so, not many, but enough to know that what I did, the length of these roots is probably a little bit too short, and what that's gonna do is make it difficult for me to find a way to attach all of them, but that's okay. If anything, worst case scenario, I can delete this video if it doesn't work out, and you guys will never know I made this mistake. Because I'm perfect. I don't make mistakes. So you see how these roots are actually kind of getting woven in between each other, and that's not ideal. The ideal is that you would be able to take one of these and coil it for like a length like this, and then the next wire will begin coiling here and go outwards that way, or the one before it will start here and then coil to finish where this coil starts. I don't know, I just might delete this video. We'll see. This is beginning to be quite a struggle. I'm always up for a challenge, but you know, the thing about a challenge is that you don't always succeed. But at least you try. Ouch. Just poked myself with the wire tip. One thing I'm thinking too is that what I could maybe do to resolve this is take, once I'm finished, take some additional wire and just go one more layer around the entire frame. And that way, oh yeah, I'm bleeding. That way any pokey tip wires that might poke you, cut you, make you bleed, any of those pokey wires are going to be tucked away and wrapped safe, so there's no pokey tips. Worst thing about bad jewelry is that it has pokey tips. Nobody likes pokey jewelry. So I'm just kind of doing a rush job to get them all attached there. Normally you would want to have some roots look like they're elevated out of there, but this is fine. We'll try this. We'll see if this works. Now what we're gonna do is peel off, I would say go for like 4 at a time, peeling off the individual strands of that 26 gauge wire. So I'm kind of doing 2 at a time, but 2 and 2 makes 4. And then this one's only 3, but that's fine. And then we're just gonna take those 4 and twist only those 4 around each other, Just like how all of them were twisted to create the trunk, now we're branching off. And you want to make your twists pretty tight and close to the trunk. In the past, I made the mistake of starting the twist out here, and then it just ends up not really looking like a tree for whatever reason. So I like to start with the little finger twist and then get the pliers in to like kind of finalize and really put the oomph on those twists. And then to keep them out of the way, we'll just bend them, keep them moving down the line. Bend back, and then we get these four and we'll twist these four together. That's good, and then we'll get the last four. You know, and actually, the way a real tree works is you'd have this branch out and then this branch out, but these two would probably stick together, at least for a little bit. Go up one more notch and then they can split, and that is going to look more like a realistic tree. And then what we'll do is we'll split those, remember how we split them in fours? Now we're going to split those fours in half and do some more bendy twists. So after I get these split off so you can see the individual ones, you can just pull them because they're complete for that step. And just pull them off to the side, and then you can pull up the next two and do what you do. Give it a little twist. I suppose the other thing too we want to make sure of is that our tree's not gonna, we do only a few twists, because if we do more twists, it ends up being so long that the tree will be growing outside of the framework, and we can't have that. Not that we don't love trees growing and reaching for the sky and freedom. It's just not what we're doing for this specific project, that's all. We love our trees. So here, since this is 3 and that's kind of a uneven number, what I'll do is I'll twist all 3 together for a little bit, and then I'll let one split off, and then continue with the other 2, twist a few more, and then we'll finish that off. So now we start to see the tree start to take form, and it's exciting. So we'll pull those branches off to the side, pull out the next ones. Sometimes these wires get a little tangled with themselves, and it gets a little tricky which 2 you want to be twisting together. But ultimately, I don't think it matters too much. There's no wrong answer. Although, if there is, I'm sure at some point I'll discover it, and I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, so now we can really see our tree here. We're gonna bend the frame back up. have a lot of excess wire, you can see that goes outside the frame. We're gonna need to keep a little bit of that in order to latch the 26 gauge wire onto the frame. But chances are we're not gonna need quite all of that excess. The next step we're gonna do is the fun part. So, well, I mean, it's all fun, right? But the next part is where we're gonna be adding those little beads. So this one, for example, you could see if the light can catch it. It's got, there it is. You see that rainbow? Ooh, beautiful. Yeah, this is a labradorite, little labradorite chip. Fun fact about labradorite, its nickname is the shaman stone. So they call it the shaman stone because labradorite is said to be a very strong bridge between our world and the whatever you want to call it, the other realm, the spirit realm, the ether, whatever floats your boat. Labradorite is supposed to be like a good bridge between the two worlds. So when a shaman is taking you on like a little journey and you're going places, it's important that you leave the door open so you could find your way back. And that is what they say labradorite is good for. It's like a lighthouse showing you where the exit is when you are done tripping. All right, so like I said, you just need a few little coils on there to anchor it on, and then all this is gonna be unnecessary excess. We can clip that off. And then remember what that rule I said was? No pokey tips. So we're gonna take that pokey tip there, and with our pliers, we're just gonna massage that, tuck it in, give it one more oomph, and good night. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. So to keep it organized, we can kind of have the wind blow all the branches except for the one we're working on to keep it nice and neat. Next, we'll do, I just grabbed like a random assortment of chip crystals. This one here is Unakite Jasper. You'll know it's easily recognized by its like pink spotty blotches on a green stone. It's a really interesting, I'm surprised I don't see more of this color contrast in fashion, considering that it's inspired by nature. Maybe, who knows, maybe I'll become a fashionista, design some pink and green clothes and become famous. I don't like that there's two Unakite Jaspers on there right next to each other, because this is a diverse pile of stones, little chips over here. So I want to kind of keep it like a little bit of a rainbow. So I just do however many stones it takes to get to the edge of the frame. So right there is good. And then that's when I'll bend the wire over. I'm not bending over, I'm bending the wire over. And a few times get that coiled, get it anchored and locked. And let's see, let's go with some consistency here. So for example, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coils here. So we're gonna do 5 coils on all of the end pieces. So there's 4, do 1 more, and then clip off any of that unnecessary excess and massage that tip in. So this is the last step, right? So once you follow this step 1, 2, and all the way through, you're done after that. So this is, I'll continue the video just for fun. But basically, if you were to stop the video and you'd already completed all this and you kept going, you wouldn't even need me anymore. You can see where this is going and you'll be done in no time. Again, I don't want to do 2 Unakite Jaspers as the base right next to each other. I think it just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. Personal opinion. go. And then now let's add that Unakite jasper. Perfect. So we got 1, 2. Here's number 3 coil. The other thing too, here, let me zoom in a little bit. So what almost happened right there when I was coiling, you want to be careful not to do this. So what I did intentionally right there, you see how the coil comes out and then it actually goes backwards and folds over on itself? Avoid that. That's going to create these unnecessary kinks on the edge of your necklace, and those kinks, just like any pokey tips, are going to be felt and noticed and are undesired for a smooth and perfect pendant. So now we've got 3 done. We've got a few more to go, but that's fine. We've got plenty of crystal chips to work with. In fact, I'm gonna jump into my stash here and grab some other colors too. I don't know, I was kind of going for like a green theme for green leaves, but not really all that green. And might as well, since it's looking rainbow, might as well go full rainbow on it. Go. Another thing too, you'll notice, like, see how the one wire is, there's a gap between it and the rest of the coils. Really quick, easy, simple fix is just to pinch and push. So you pinch down on the coiled section and then squeeze the coils so that they are together. Okay. So one thing I'll say to break this awkward silence is that I did a dumb and desperate thing that I don't recommend, and I went on Amazon for Black Friday. Oh, the Cyber Monday discounts, and got this. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. These are beautiful little chip beads. But the thing is that I don't know that I think it's all fake. It's all imitation. I mean, like the blue on this turquoise. Are you kidding me? That's for the price I got this little lot at. This is fake. I don't like fake stones. I mean, I have a hard enough time as it is with opalite. If you guys are big into gems and minerals like me, then you'll understand opalite is not real. It's a synthetic imitation version of opal, which is a real stone, and it's super beautiful. And man's imitation version of it, it's like what would it be? It would be like I don't know, like a piece of dirt car versus a Lambo. You just can't even compare. All right, so I got my coils there. Clip off the excess. Yeah, so like if you want, you could Google it right now. Look up Ethiopian fire opal, and you'll have some beautiful images of this real stone that's not man-made, and then look up opalite, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I totally see what you're saying. One is not the other. That was me whistling. I forgot I probably have background music for this video, so I won't be doing that. Enjoy the music, guys. It's looking okay. About halfway there. Not bad. Oh, you know what I haven't added? Is any dark blues. So this is a sodalite. Sodalite to me looks a lot like lapis, and I don't know for sure, but I suspect maybe they're even of relation. Much like how like chrysocolla and malachite and azurite and copper are all like of a similar family. I wonder that sodalite and lapis are not of something similar to that. To me, the only way I can really spot or tell the difference between sodalite and lapis is that lapis has those tiny little flakes of gold or gold specks, and sodalite will of course have kind of these white streaks. I mean, this is over exaggerating, maybe not a great example, but so sodalite will be like clearly a little bit white and a little bit blue. Lapis generally will be like completely blue. At least a good specimen anyway. Another thing too that I'll say is that when I do these coils, or like attaching the leaves or branches onto the framework, and I do my coiling, I think that it looks more neat if you do all your coils in one direction. So for example, how the wire comes out, it starts right here and it goes up, comes out, starts right here, goes up, 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 up. And by up, I'm also meaning like curling, winding clockwise. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that if you decide to go in one direction, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, just stick with that direction for the whole way through. Those symmetrical things, they might not seem like much as you're working, but in the finished product, it becomes one of those things that not all the time, but like sometimes it will be that thing that really stands out, and it will, like, as the artist or a perfectionist of your work, it'll be that thing that you'll always see. So I don't know if you're like me, or if like that's not going to drive you crazy, but that's something to keep in mind. I have no idea what kind of stone this is or what stone they're trying to imitate it to be. Maybe moonstone? Kind of has that shimmer to it, but I don't know. I love moonstone. My chart sign is Cancer, so Cancer the crab is ruled by the moon as our planet. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to have an intimate relationship with the moon that's more special than anybody else's relationship with the moon just because I'm a Cancer, but I don't think so. I look up at the moon and see it just the way anybody else does, I imagine. Although I will say I never feel alone looking up at the moon. So maybe there's something to that. You ever look up at the moon and then think about that person that's special to you and think, are they looking up at the same moon? No, I'm just kidding. I think I got that from a movie or something. Oh, you know what? Actually, I remember exactly where I got that from. Did you ever see the movie Joe Dirt? Yeah, that's where that's from. So if you do your coils and you notice that they're like some of them are not fully tight or just not looking perfectly symmetrical, one thing that you can do to test if it's the tightness of the coils is just pinch the flat part to contact as many coils as possible. Give a little pinch, not like a good squeeze, but just a little squeeze. And do a little rotation like that, and that should what it does is it rolls the coils around the frame wire, and it kind of helps tighten that finish. What is this? Come on, this is like, that's lazy craftsmanship. Like, what kind of stone is that? It looks like something you put in your goldfish tank. Thanks, Amazon. I'm like getting to the end of this and I'm like, oh crap, am I gonna even have enough space for this final branch here? Stay tuned. I'm hoping I can just like slide these up. And that help? I'll just get rid of that fish. Goldfish rock. Get out of here with that goldfish rock. What are you doing? You know what? I apologize for keep making those weird sounds or hums or whatever. The truth is, I hope you're a Justin Bieber fan, because I'm a Justin Bieber fan, and he's got that Holy Spirit song stuck in my head. It's one of his new ones out. You probably hear it on the radio today. Good for Justin Bieber. He found God. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's a sellout thing. The Christians pay more. I don't know. Alright, I guess now we can throw in this fish tank rock. Get so yeah, we're getting close to the finish now, and it's getting a little tight for room in there. we'll make it work. Maybe what I'll do is break the symmetrical pattern. I said I was doing 5 coils on each. Well, I'm gonna stop at 3 here just to give me a little extra space. And then just pinch down that little tip, that pokey tip. I'm not even gonna put a crystal on that one. There's just no room for it. And then I'll do the same thing, only doing 3 coils because we're limited on space. All right, we're down to the final countdown. Just 2 branches left. All right, so I got that one. I did a little unsymmetrical move again and actually crossed the wires just for lack of space. So there was a coil here, and now I'm coiling in between these 2 coils instead of continuing the trend to go in that direction. Again, that's just for a lack of space. If I had my preference, in a perfect world, I wouldn't have had to do that, and I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to do it. But I'm doing it, and I'm gonna make it work. All right. 1 more left. We're so close, guys. Thanks for sticking it out with me the whole way through, if you did. All right, we'll just add that last little one there. Latch it on. And then we are gonna call it a day, my friends. Well, latch it on, but then really anchor it too. So a few more coils, and then we're gonna call it a day. Actually, scratch that. A few more coils, and then do the finishing touches. Then we're done. And when I say finishing touches, it's like I noticed there's a little pokey tip right there from one of the roots. So we're just gonna double check and inspect all that. And then voila, we have our Tree of Life pendant. There you go. Good job, guys.